gentlemen, Bolton.
Thank you. We love you too, even though you're just voices in the dark right now. There's a love, a certain kind of love that never shone on me. I want my life to be, to live with you, to live with you. There's a way. Everybody said to do each and every little thing, but what good does it bring if I ain't got you? If I ain't got you, baby, you don't know what it's like. Sing it to me now, baby. To love somebody.
My good God, am I happy to speak to the man himself, Michael Bolton. Welcome to Marbella.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. Thanks for really your patience.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. For the record,
It's very late.
listen, you had Marbella at your feet just now. We've come to many gigs here. It's been incredible, the reception that you have had. How was that energy for you?
Have you seen a lot of shows here? Have you?
Yes. Gloria Gaynor, Brian Ferry. I don't want to talk about the competition, but you absolutely had them.
Well, thank you very much. Is it competition? Is it really?
No, I wouldn't like to think of it that way.
No, it's an annual event, and it's great energy and a lot of love. It's interesting because the people on the sides, did you notice they were really going crazy? I wanted to get a little closer to them.
And they so appreciated it.
And they really did, yeah. And the love of singing for an audience that knows all of your hits. And
It's incredible. I mean, we're talking decades here. You at the top, and it didn't matter which generation. A female was up on their feet and dancing to your stuff.
It's not bad, is it?
No, it's not bad at all. You're funny. Tell us about the inspiration of Ain't No Mountain High Enough, your latest album.
Well, it's back to my childhood. Motown, where Hitsville basically gave birth to an entire company, an entire several generations of great songwriters and artists who changed the world and brought this feel-good element and very resonant, relatable music to first Americans and then around the world. In fact, they were writing such great material, the Beatles wanted to record, and did, record their songs. And the Beatles, Lennon and McCartney, two of the most prolific songwriters in history, wanted to visit this Motown experience. Hitsville is the studio and the office space and the working place where all these great writers and artists got together.
Goosebumps.
It's pretty astounding. What, the theme, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, is even more touching because this is an Ashford Simpson song. And Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson became a great songwriting team. But Nick Ashford had come from North Carolina. He was broke. He was borderline homeless. And he came to New York City to chase his dream, to pursue his dream.
Wow.
And he looked at these skyscrapers in New York City, and he looked at all of them and realized how daunting it would be. And he wrote the title, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, based upon these giant skyscrapers. And he made it. They made it. Mm-hmm. And the song, Nick has passed away just really not too long ago. And Valerie still tours the world, and we've performed the song together on TV in America, and we're very, very good friends. And I loved Nick, who was one of the nicest people I'd ever met in the business. And it's very telling because at the heart of what made Hitsville and Motown so successful really is the individual dream of all of the different people that came. The songwriters, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell doing the duets, Four Tops, Temptations, Smokey Robinson. Amazing talent, all pursuing their dreams in one city, Detroit, in the United States, and it moved the world.
Yeah. Any relevance to your life at the moment? Ain't no mountain high enough?
It'll always have a lot of relevance because I pursued my dream of being a singer and being successful in the music business, which means performing in front of an audience who knows your music and appreciates you. It took me 18 years before I had my first hit. I was signed when I was 16, but I didn't have a hit till I was 34.
Right.
So I can relate to the desire and the drive that will not let you surrender or quit. So I like to say I don't have quit in me.
Yeah, well, good on you. Now then, you've just come from Italy, is that correct? Yeah. You're now in Spain. I've checked your website out. You've got an awful lot of pictures of food on your website from the past trips.
I'm learning. I'm learning that this is what people want to be posted on Facebook and on my Twitter account. Is like, what are you eating? I said, why would anybody care? And then all of a sudden, I can't remember what it was exactly the first time I took a picture and posted it, and people just went nuts. I love that. I'm jealous. I want that. And I'm learning. I'm not, kind of still at the beginning of the learning curve. But, I will tweet about all kinds of things. But when I see something, in Italy, the problem is that you don't stop eating, and they don't want you to stop eating. And it's all so delicious, and that can be problematic.
So is it the Mediterranean food that does it for you?
I think it is, especially for me. Mediterranean works for me because I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
And so I'm not a health food vegetarian as much as I used to be, as much as I want to enjoy my traveling experience. But Mediterranean food offers a lot of choices for vegetarians and healthy choices.
Yes.
You're just supposed to watch the quantity.
Now listen, right back to the past. You started out in hard rock. Obviously, your hairstyle was a lot different then.
It wasn't quite the start. I really started in R&B, and I got into rock in the 70s and signed with a label, with Polygram, with a group called Blackjack. And those are 2 hard rock albums, not metal, but pretty straight ahead hard rock. And I continued that for about 10 years. But I didn't really start out there as much as the business manager for Led Zeppelin and Bad Company said to me, I love your voice. I want to put together a record deal for you, but I want you to be the lead singer of a group. And I want you to lean towards your rock, in your rock direction. And I said, sounds good, let's do it. And I did 4 rock albums, none of which were successful, not successful to the point where a label would continue working with you. And Columbia Records, the president of Columbia Records in 1986, Al Teller, said to me, I know you love rock and roll, but I don't see your career there. You're writing songs about relationships, and you're singing these demos, and you're giving these songs to other artists. Keep them, and let's do another record together. So that's like being kind of called into the principal's office, or the headmaster's office.
Exactly, and being told, but it's sound advice really, isn't it?
And it changed my life.
Now, I'm mentioning this because when we heard you sing Nessun Dorma, the place, the energy in the pit and surrounding areas was just incredible, because it was a mixture of awe, unexpectancy, and the fact that you pulled it off and you were so clean, singing it with such passion. People were gobsmacked. Is that a regular reaction to you singing?
I didn't hear you. Can you please repeat all you just said?
Why?
I mean, that's the intention, and with mainstream success, which I had a lot of, fortunately, finally, I got an invitation to sing with Pavarotti, and that was the greatest voice I had ever heard recorded. And I'd listened to Caruso and studied the earlier tenors. but this is the greatest voice I've ever heard. And I thought, oh, I have to do this justice. How do I study this? And so I started working with a coach. And the coach said to me, well, you are a tenor. You have a high C, you have above high C. I said, I do?
Oh.
Yes. Now you have to learn how to hold the notes and vibrate them, and you have to learn Italian. So fortunately, Pavarotti was so generous with me and so gracious, and that was a life-altering experience. And then we performed together on a giant television show in the States, and Pavarotti was a guest in my world.
Yeah,
But-
that made history, didn't it?
Yeah, but he changed my life, altered my experience musically and my respect and love for singing.
And I mean, the best way to learn Italian is get yourself an Italian girlfriend. Is that not right?
There's a rumor that could be true.
There
I
you
think
go.
that has been true for many people,
Listen.
to learn the proper Italian.
Yes, the proper Italian. Collaborations. You were talking about Pavarotti just now. Your favorite collaboration so far?
Besides Pavarotti.
Besides Pavarotti.
Just did an amazing duet with Leona Lewis, who just sang on the version that'll come out in the UK of Ain't a Mountain High Enough.
Oh, for goodness sake, what a combination, your two voices.
She killed it. She just killed it. I love what she did. We have different versions of the duets in different regions in the world. And Delta Goodrum did one for Australia and Asia, and Helena Fischer in Germany and Austria, Switzerland. There's going to be 5 or 6 different duets, and Leona, we contacted her people, and she was ready to go, and she came to the studio in LA, and she's fantastic.
Oh, she's so powerful and passionate in her voice.
And soulful and dynamic as well. So, I've had a lot of I've had some tremendous high points of being able to sing and work with people that I've followed as a child, and Ray Charles being one of the first most important ones. B.B. King, of course, Pavarotti, then Domingo and Carreras. Unlikely pairings, those, but it expanded my
Was that separately or as the three tenors?
separately. So and the last performance of the 3 was with Carreras, and that felt like the trifecta for me. I had to do it. And he was fantastic, and now I've performed with him several times. And Domingo was great. I did a Christmas in Vienna with Placido.
Well, that's the classics. What about the genre that you're in right now, or would you ever do funk, rap, or whatever?
I don't know that I would do funk rap, but I've had my music sampled by Jay-Z and quite a few young artists. I just did a guest appearance on Kid Cudi's album, who's phenomenal to me, and Positive Energy. I don't really want to stop because I'm starting to write with teams of young writer-producers.
There's the new generation, and
yeah.
keep it
And,
fresh.
Yeah, and then I'll get some kind of shout out from Rihanna all of a sudden. I'll go, I don't even know her, but that's very sweet, and I'm a big fan, and I tweet back, and you find out you have new friends. And then of course there's Captain Jack Sparrow, if you haven't seen it.
Okay.
Captain Jack Sparrow, the Lonely Island video, has done 120 million views, and that is a completely different audience going on YouTube and saying, wow, we love this. What is this? What other records has he made? Which is really fascinating.
And that should take you into the next generation, even younger still.
Well, hopefully. And hopefully, we keep seeing 3 or 4 generations at concerts.
And that was definitely the case here tonight, for sure.
Yeah, quite a few. There's a pretty wide range of people.
The lady who passed you the flowers,
Yes.
she came with her 2 kids, and we spoke to her in the audience because
Yeah.
she was so passionate.
One of her daughters gave me the card, actually. One of her daughters gave me the
How
card.
cute was that?
Sweet.
Very. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about another passion of yours, and that's your charitable work and your social activities. You've got your own foundation, Michael Bolton Charities, and you fight for the protection of children, of women, of underprivileged people in this world. How does it feel for you to use what you have built, your powers as a star, to help others who are not quite so privileged?
It's an honor to feel like you're a part of something that is greater than popular success, in the pop culture. But it's a responsibility and an obligation that once you start doing the work, you realize you're just scratching the surface. And now what we're finding is in working on issues with women, just find it kind of epidemic levels of violence directed against women from school, from junior high school on, and the reports and the levels of violence directed against
we've
women.
obviously just had the Malala story happening.
Right. Malala's like, I want to have a T-shirt made with her face on it. There's a hero.
Yeah, if there ever was one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And men need to step up. Men need to give their voices to women and for women in their striving on, pretty much on every front. But this is one that's particularly, it's maybe because I have daughters, and my parents were divorced. I was close to my father, but my mother really raised us. And being surrounded by women all my life, basically. I had 3 daughters, and at one point, I had 3 daughters, a nanny, and her cook was a woman. So there's 5 women and me in
lovely.
The kitchen, right? But when you look at the realities of what women have had to face, and not just in America, but around the world, now it's even worse because of human trafficking, sex trafficking. And it's an issue that the world is starting to rally around, but it really is kind of systemic. It's this mentality of disrespect and disregard, and really for women, that is a global problem, and it's a big problem in the United States. It was just a giant FBI, the biggest sting in history, the biggest clampdown on sexual trafficking, sex trafficking in the United States of teenage girls, young girls, and I think it was 76 cities, and it's a start to me. That's the FBI in the States saying, this is going to happen under our watch, and that's what we need more of globally.
Mm-hmm. Well, Michael, you can be proud of the work that you're doing there. I'm very proud of the fact that we were able to wait for you.
Well, I'm so grateful for your
And
patience.
it was an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Where are you off to next?
Monaco.
And then?
South of France. Then home for 2 days, get to see my home, Connecticut, New England, and then to Rochester, New York, and then to San Diego, 2 shows with the Symphony Orchestra. San Diego, and then a few shows in Southern California, Phoenix. Then I have, I don't know, is it a week off? I don't know. I have 5 or 6 days off. I'm writing, I'm working, developing on some television shows and some things that I want to be part of in the States. And then we go back on the road again. And just check out the website. It's going to get
yes, absolutely. I could ask you 1,000 questions more, but I'm wary of the time. So thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
So much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.